At the southern end of Africa's Great Rift Valley lies Gorongosa National Park, a vast, unexplored wilderness, devastated by civil conflict. Now, the park is joining forces with biologist Edward Wilson to create a research facility like no other, the E.O. Wilson Biodiversity Laboratory. Together, they're bringing some of the brightest minds in science to Mozambique, discovering Gorongosa's secrets, nurturing the next generation of champions, and restoring this once mighty ecosystem.
I'm Josh Daskin. I'm a PhD student in ecology at Princeton University. We've all come to Gorongosa with different specializations. Mine here is aquatic ecosystems, so I'll be studying the pans. So a pan is the equivalent of a pond here in Africa. They're seasonal, and they're important because they're the water sources for the large mammals here in Gorongosa, and they're the habitats for fish and frogs and aquatic insects. Pans here are really a blank slate scientifically. We don't know a whole lot about which species are living in them. We don't know what those species are doing. Because the system here is relatively unstudied, the questions that I'm trying to answer are quite straightforward. First, what lives in the pans? The fish, the frogs, and what uses them, the large mammals? There's a couple of ways I'm going to answer these questions. Along with my field assistant Flavio, we're going to use camera traps, which we can mount on a tree or a log. We can know everything that comes to a pan. Right, we've got 10 of these cameras out at different pans right now, and they take a photo every 5 minutes, night and day. In my 3 months here, we'll have about 90,000 photos, and it's time to head back to Chitengo and see what we've captured. We're going to capture all the animals in the pans using a net, using traps, using our bare hands. Woo! Catfish. This is a catfish. The scientific name is Clarius, and they've got a really cool habit. Pans dry down for the winter. They'll go into the mud and do what's called estivating. It's a little bit like hibernating, and they let the mud dry all around them, and when the rains come back and the pan fills up, they can swim around like a normal fish again. It's actually one of my least favorite species to handle from the pans. They've got a couple of nasty spines that'll give you a pretty good prick. So we'll just note down what species he is, how many we've caught, where we caught him, and we'll put him back in the pan. And we're going to make a collection of all the animals that we find in the pans. We're here at our makeshift science laboratory, Flavio and I, and we're going to do some insect preservation, which is a hugely important part of what we do here. We catch a lot of different species in the pans, and a lot of them are really small, hard to identify. So it's important to have a record of all of those so that we can go back in the future, or other researchers can use our collection as well to identify the species that we find. So, can you look this guy up, Flavio? We're not sure what he is.
Yeah.
I think it's a hemipteran. That looks like him.
Leucotrophs?
Mm-hmm. Lycotrephes, and it says that they're aquatic predators. They're kind of like the lions of the pans. They use these big front legs to catch tadpoles or small fish. So we can just add them to a vial. Yeah, it's a cool find, really neat insect. And can you put him in the collection for us? And we're all set.
We know that large mammals are important to pans. Their trampling helps break open the surface that allows them to form, and their dung helps add nutrients to the system. I have a hunch that when Gorongosa lost most of its large mammals during the war, its pans also suffered. If I find this to be the case, the park could potentially help species living in the pans to recover by digging new or bigger pans, or by fertilizing existing pans to replace the lost nutrients.
The more time I spend in Gorongosa, the more I realize what a neat place it is. You can go out any day and see something completely new. Or you can go back to a place where you've been 100 times and see something you haven't seen there. The light is different every day. The species moving through a certain area are different every day. As a PhD student, I'll get to be here for 5 years, and I can't think of a place that's more exciting to be.
Small steps on a journey of 1,000 miles. Each new discovery bringing Gorongosa closer to its original vibrancy and hope for all of the world's wild spaces along with it.